Magical Dark. Emperor. No, Machina is better than an F. But I wish. I wish I could. So why are you here, Emperor? You weird man. You do dark damage with your BSB. But it's attached wind. Your Super Soul Break gives Radiant Shield to all allies. So there's your dark damage. You super. You super. Cloud of Darkness. Now, Cloud of Darkness didn't score that well in Holy. That's gonna change. Cloud of Darkness has a USB and BSB 2 coming. She is truly a Cloud of Darkness. Her USB is 7 group attacks, magic and resistance, plus 30% to all allies. All allies grant attached dark and lightning follow-up to the user. Don't let the name of it fool you. Lightning follow-up casts lightning after using a dark attack. That is, that's the key there. Is this a dark attack must be used to cast this, and this is why she did not show up on the lightning tier list, because the entry does deal lightning damage. The chase does deal lightning damage. But it's only triggered by doing dark attacks. So she would need to cast, you know, dark attacks was probably a resistant target to deal this low multiplier chase, and relying, you know, solely on the damage that the USB does itself. So it's not lightning. It really is just a darkness chase, but it's a weak one. And it's specifically weak because the entry of her USB is as strong as it is. Most people will get a magic, or, you know, an offensive and defensive statistic to themselves, and then have a strong chase attached to it. She buffs the party and then has a weaker chase. So it's a really good USB. And her BSB2 is actually phenomenal. Zero Form Particle Beam, Dark Non-Elemental. Magic and Mind 30% to all allies again. Cloud of Darkness became the darkness buffer for some reason. And also grants haste to all allies. So this is a copy of Mog's BSB. But what makes it uniquely keyed to darkness teams, it also gives a 30-second doom to all allies, which is awesome. I personally am a huge fan of it, because it really, you put it all on the line and you get a very powerful burst out of it. Oh, the chase's area of effect. I don't know if there are any other chases that are area of effect but that low. We got Auto Judgment Bolt from Garnet. That's a 5.7. Auto Fiery Lightning from Braska's 6.8. Hers is the only one to compare against, because this isn't a chase. It's the only area of effect magical chase. That's surprising. Anyway, Cloud of Darkness's Burst is the perfect buffer for a Darkness team. And I do believe the commands are actually pretty good because they're meant to be used with abilities. And those are generally going to be the better commands. Because obviously abilities start taking over burst commands and their usefulness. So Cloud of Darkness commands are grants darkness boost 15%, 3 to the user. So you use this once and then you use 2 more abilities after it at a higher damage output. And she also gets Magic Bargain, which is plus 30% magic and minus 30% defense on her command too. So it's just a really good burst for a Darkness team. And replaces the need for another, support. And you get, in return, you get somebody that can actually deal high amounts of darkness damage, which is nice because one of the premier buffers in the game is Onion Knight, and he can't deal darkness damage that well at all. He has access to the 5-star ninja abilities, but those are physical. So if you're using his magic buffing USB, then you're not getting any attacks. So you're probably not going to be dealing a hell of a lot of damage, and that's where Cloud of Darkness slots in. And if you want to use Onion Knight, that's okay, because Cloud of Darkness can use her USB instead, which is a pretty powerful buffing USB. So, Darkness Buffer Extraordinaire, Cloud of Darkness. And for Legend Materia, she gets a chance to chase with another group 4.4 that deals dark damage after using a dark ability. So a chance to chase, as well as her guaranteed chase on her USB. Honestly, I think with what Cloud of Darkness brings to Darkness teams, and that is what, magical Darkness teams, and that is what we're evaluating. I think she's great. I think she's S. Golbez. Golbez gets a USB in the coming Final Fantasy IV event, Master of Baron. 10 single attacks, defense and magic plus 30% to the user. Just in comparison to Cloud of Darkness there. Grants attached dark and HP stock 6,000 to the user. Definitely not meant to be standalone. The HP stock flat doesn't do a whole lot. It's kind of like Cecil. And just like Cecil, and for obvious reasons why these two characters are so similar, Golbez can start the battle with Last Stand and Sentinel. So he's meant to be Legendo with his USB. Because if you have HP stock 6,000, you want a reason to use it, right? And Darkness Magical don't have the same, like, hurt yourself for more damage stuff that Physical Darkness do. So the best thing that Golbez has going for him, well, he can Knight. Is this enough for... It's definitely not S. Because he's pretty cool. He's always been pretty cool in what he does. The mage tank. But he doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Or augment the amount of damage your party does. I think I'm gonna match him up with his brother, actually. Which was B? I think he's a B. But for the exact same reason, Cecil. It's just struggling to find value in being a tank these days. I think Golbez, when his BSB first came out, was really neat and awesome. And made him like the stuff of A. And I think I rated him A 6 months ago. But tanks are less valuable than they once were because DNA is absolutely transitioning to more NAT type attacks instead of PHY. And PHY is the stuff that you can taunt with stuff like Sentinel. So, unfortunately, the meta has shifted and spoken. X-Death. Neo Grand Cross is his USB. 6 group attacks, magic and mind to all allies, and grants high runic to the user. So he's not here to deal damage, he's here to be a runic user. And he does that well. Magic and mind to all allies is a great buff. And out of the 2 Grand Crosses, or high runic, I'll get to that eventually. I think I prefer X-Death because I think he's more versatile. As a full sage, he can bring this to the party and single target heal, as well as being someone who, you know, runics and, you know, buffs the party. So he doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, an all-in darkness mage, but I guess that's what we're evaluating right now. His value as a runic user is going to be gone over later. I have him in special consideration, along with Celeste, because that needs to be talked about. It's a very unique status, and but I believe with the 35% chance to dual cast darkness or dark abilities, it does kind of move him back into the direction of dealing dark damage. So he can if you need him to, and I think that's important. That's really important, this right here. Because he can definitely make or might that out to buff the party, to be a runic if you need it, and then Memento Mori in Dark Zone, and be a powerful damage dealing character as well as a buffer. Is that worthy of A? B or A? You want to look at Neo Black Hole? Isn't it just a burst? It's just an Imperial Dark Burst. He does not have an OSB. So I guess I think I'm going to have to give him B. Because he doesn't... Yes, he can Memento Mori in Dark Zone, but any Dark Mage can do that. So I would give him C for that reason. C because of that burst. It's the magic in mind that he grants to all allies while doing all of this that'll push him up to B. So I can just... yeah. But remember, we go into X-Death more in a different section. Because he does bring more value than just this. Kefka. Kefka gets an OSB. Awesome. So Kefka's BSB2 actually just showed up tonight on the first Brabra banner. So let's talk about it. 8 random attacks, grants haste, attach, dark, and burst mode to the user. I think I probably have. I just forgot about it because Kefka tends to slip the mind. And he will until we start seeing him in a little more regularity. So Kefka's BSB2 is 2 single attacks and causes madness minus 10%, 20, 30, for 25 seconds scaling with uses. Madness is a resistance deduction, I believe. It's a magic deduction. Okay. Well, yeah, I know the mechanic for the command too, but this is something that's unique that Garland and Squall don't use. It's a reduction to target, right? So definitely better than it being used on self. But still not like phenomenal because it stacks up to 30%. But anyway, the real draw here is his command 2. He gets 3, 4, 5, or 6 single attacks scaling with Descent into Madness uses. So like Squalls, you use his first command a certain amount of times, ideally 4 times, 1, 2, oh no, 3 times, sorry. Just like Squall and Garland. You use it 3 times to get up to the max, and you do a 6 times 3.0 damage, which is, if we're mathing correctly, that is an 18.0, which is as powerful as a magical soul break. So pretty good. So pretty good. What do you get for Legend Materia? Oh, the Quick Cast 3 one. And a 25% chance to dual cast abilities that deal dark damage for his LMR. So he has a chance to dual cast Soul Breaks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it resets. Does Madness stack with Magic Breakdown? Yes, it does. But regardless, it's still good. Just like Squall's, it's really good. I don't know if it's as powerful as Squall's. Let's take a look at Squall. How big do you get, buddy? Uh, 7 times 1. Oh no, it's not as big as Squall's. But it's still good. It's still good. That's a 8.75 multiplier, which is definitely bigger than Soul Break level, as well as having a 25% chance of critical. It's much, much better. But still, Kefka's is good. And it's nice that he gets an OSB to go along with it, and he has a 25% chance to dual cast. So, A? B? Or no, sorry, definitely not B. I don't think S. Because it does take some charging to get there. And he only has a 25% chance to dual cast. OSB, I believe, is just dark, right? Yeah, they went right by us and just went, forget this poison stuff. Yeah, if he gets a USB, Kefka moves up. I think that's a fair assessment. Adia. Do you belong here? There's no Dark Witch abilities. Your Command 1 does 12.0. Over 6 hits, sure, but it's still only 12.0. For perspective, Dark Zone does, I think, 13.75. $14. And she doesn't have a strong Legend Dive. I don't think Adia really belongs in Darkness anymore. Because just the ability upgrade removes the primary strength that she had. Oh boy, we're at Kuja. Kuja. Soul Divider. Did you mean to type S, Psychotic? Because pretty sure you meant to type S. 17.0 grants Attached Dark and X Angel of Death to the user. Darkness abilities deal 5, 10, 15, 20, or 30% more damage at ability rank 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And it casts Ultima, Final Fantasy 9 when removed. So he gets End Dark on cast of his USB for 50% more damage. Darkness abilities deal 30% more damage. So he's probably going to be capping. Which is good, because that Ultima that he gets from his Angel of Death does damage based on what you do, just as Alphanos does, while you're in the X mode. 8 group attacks that deal damage for 4.375% of the damage dealt with BLK attacks. That's a lot of damage. And let's say for 15 seconds you're capping with Dark Zone for 40k a turn. Yeah, you get the possibility of double casting too, because he has a 35% chance of double cast. I think the only reason that he can't exceed Sid Reigns is because Reigns attacks faster and has Wrath access. One thing that it looks like is limiting Kuja here is the fact that he can only hit 4 times a turn with a 35% chance to dual cast. It's too slow. It's too slow to reach Reigns. Not to be S, because he's absolutely S. But I don't think he exceeds Reigns because the instacast is too much. It's too much. But yeah, as stated, Kuja has a 35% chance to dual cast Dark. Attach Dark is fine. It's good for him because he has no Wrath access, so he needs to do something at the start of the battle. Might as well use Dark abilities, right? Though he is a full stage, so he could protect a Shelga or heal if you'd like him to, depending on what your team comp requires. In which case, Attach Dark wouldn't be terribly useful. Yeah, Kuja's really easy, yes. That 50% but plus 30% increased damage and 35% chance of dual cast and a gigantic Ultima Chase. Yeah. Probably Sketch, yeah. Anyway, Seymour's up next. Oblivion is his Chain Soul Break, and it is, in my opinion, the best form of Chain. 11 single attacks, Dark Chain 20%, and grants Quick Cast 2 to all allies. For that reason alone, that's pretty much... It's generally enough to make someone S tier, because that's what chains are. But let's take a look at his other stuff. And see if they don't drag him down, potentially. Guado Madness. 8 single attacks, grants haste, attach dark, and burst mode to the user. This is BSB 2. His BSB 1 is just a simple Imperil Dark BSB with nothing of note about it. But Seymour's Guado Madness is 6 single attacks, 2.2. Damages the user for 35% of maximum HP. Oh my word. But that is a 13.2 multiplier. So it's kind of like Dark Zone, but weaker. And it hurts you a lot. What's Phantom Regen? So his second command doesn't deal any damage, but it gives him Magic Bargain and Phantom Regen. What is Phantom Regen? Heals 15% of maximum HP every 3.5 seconds. So a little that you can get off a full turn in less than 3.5 seconds. So he hurts himself for 35% and then heals 15% of it. slightly slower.
Mention we haven't honored yet. I think for this special occasion, we need to bring out Swing to Chocobo.
I mean, so, I mean, at least he mitigates it some, right? Is that status exclusive with actual regen? And it's exclusive with poison and sap, just like regen is, but it's not exclusive with regen. So you could potentially have both regens up? Well, not like it matters. Heavy regen still isn't a lot. The entry to his BSB2? No, it's just attached dark. What are your legend materia? Oh, okay, here we go. You get one of these. 40% chance of restoring HP to the user for 40% of the damage dealt with single target dark attacks. I guess that makes sense given the theme that they're going for with this burst. I still don't like it because it's only a 13.2 multiplier. It's like, I didn't want to hone Dark Zone. Or I want to use Dark Zone on another character and I don't want to use another Dark Zone on Seymour. I don't see Seymour being useful for anything but his chain. So here's the real chest. I think every other chain that we've seen so far, the holder has had something else that made them good. But Seymour doesn't. S. The dual cast is just too powerful, coupled with the chain, and the chain may be enough by itself. And it's a quick cast chain as well, which dark mages would love. Vayne already went over in Physical Dark. And I don't think he gets any worse. I don't think anything changes between Physical and Magical Dark. He's got a fantastic chase, regardless. Yeah, it's just a good chase over 5 hits. Reigns. I already went over Reigns. Let's just say he's better as a Darkness Mage than he is Holy, and that's saying something. Nabat. Nabat is... was great when she was first released, but I think she's fallen behind. She's just been forgotten. That may change with the next 13 event. Who knows? But that is... I'm not going to speculate and do anything for her until then. Nabat is a good Darkness supporting mage. She is the best Imperiler for Darkness. That's for sure. Because she has Wrath access. But she doesn't have a Legend Dive. She has a debuff super. It really is. It just boils down to her Wrathing Outer Burst. So I think Wrath access coupled with the Imperil puts her at B, where a normal Imperil would have made them a C, but she gets a B. Because she's just really beneficial to a Darkness team. Alphino. Okay, this is one event or one element where I will tolerate your presence. because the entry on your USB at least does dark damage. So you can entry on your USB, then use Ultimate Weapon, and then chase. That's acceptable. It's not Kefka level damage, but it's good. No, but I'll explain it again. The damage type on his chase doesn't matter, because the amount of damage that his chase does is based upon the damage that you do while the USB is active. It's the chase is non-elemental. That's on purpose. It's supposed to be that way because the amount of damage that you deal is based upon what you're doing. So it is sort of elemental in a way because it is based upon elemental damage. The more elemental damage you do, the more weakness that you exploit, the more powerful the chase will be. It's good that it is non-elemental, because you wouldn't want it to be resisted. So I threw him in B, and that'll probably be the only element that he's able to reach B on. Everything else is just kind of an afterthought, except for non-elemental. Then things change. But as we will see, magical non-elemental is not exactly the largest crew. Malik. Zero cast time, lightning. So we're only looking at your BSB. You don't really even belong on this list. It's debuffing. This is debuffing stuff with a dark element attached to it. Alright, so we have Cloud of Darkness, Kuja, Seymour, and Vayne, and Sid Reigns. A lot of quality. Only Kefka gets A. Nabat, no. Alpha, no. X-Death, no. Golbez is the only person I can try to make a case for bringing up to A. And I think I will. Or will I? I need to look at his stuff again. It's not good enough. So he'll stay down at B. Kefka will be the sole occupier of A. Yeah, I don't know what it's actually useful for.